You think rage is your weapon, don't you? You think screaming at the top of your lungs, breaking things, and lashing out will make them regret what they did. Let me tell you something. Anger is cheap. It's the easiest thing to provoke. They expect it from you. They want it from you, because the second you snap, they get to sit back and say, "See, I told you they're unstable." They'll paint you as the villain in their story, and they'll sleep like babies knowing they've won. But silence? Oh, silence is a weapon they don't see coming. It's not just a lack of words. It's a lack of validation. When you don't react, you starve them of the satisfaction they crave. And starving someone, that's the slowest, most painful death of all. Think about it. Every insult they hurl, every trap they set, it's bait. They want you to take it. But when you stand there, stone-faced, staring into their soul, they don't know what to do. Their confidence crumbles, their facade cracks, and suddenly, they're the ones doubting themselves. Your silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. And trust me, that silence will haunt them far longer than your screams ever could. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you to bury your pain. Oh no, pain is a powerful teacher. It sharpens you, hardens you. It turns the soft parts of you into steel. But here's the secret. You don't let them see it. You don't give them the satisfaction of knowing they hurt you. Instead, you take that pain and you mold it into something they can't touch. Do you know why diamonds are so valuable? Pressure. Years and years of relentless pressure. It's not the fire that makes them unbreakable. It's the silence in which they endure. Be like the diamond. Let the weight press down on you, but never let it crack you. When the world looks at you, let them see something they can't destroy. Here's another truth. Walking away is not weakness. Oh, they'll call it that, sure. They'll say you're running, that you're scared. But walking away is the ultimate act of power. It says, you're not worth my energy. It's the difference between fighting in the mud and rising above it. When you leave them standing there, yelling at nothing, you've already won. They'll hate it, you know. They'll hate that you didn't stoop to their level. That's the beauty of silence. It doesn't just protect you, it destroys them. They'll replay every word, every action, trying to figure out where they lost control. And you? You'll be miles ahead, untouchable. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who spent years plotting revenge against those who wronged him. He burned bridges, ruined relationships, all for the sake of making them pay. And when the day finally came, when he stood over their ruins, do you know what he felt? Nothing. Because revenge doesn't heal wounds. It deepens them. The only real revenge is success. It's moving on, building a life so full and rich that their existence becomes irrelevant. Think about it. What hurts more? Seeing someone crying over you, or seeing them thriving without you. That's why you stay silent. That's why you rise. Because nothing destroys an enemy faster than showing them they have no power over you. Here's a bitter pill for you to swallow. Most people don't care about your pain. They don't lose sleep over the nights you cried or the scars you carry. They'll step on you, laugh at you, and keep moving like you're nothing. So why waste your breath trying to make them understand? Let your actions speak. Let your silence scream. There's a saying I like. The wolf doesn't concern itself with the opinion of sheep. You're the wolf, strong, silent, untouchable. And the sheep, they'll bleat and gossip and try to drag you down. But a wolf doesn't stoop to their level. It stands tall, watching, waiting. And when it moves, it's with purpose. You want them to feel what you felt? Then don't yell, don't cry, just stop. Stop chasing them, stop explaining yourself, stop giving them a reaction. Your silence will echo louder than any words. It will gnaw at them, keep them awake at night. They'll wonder why you don't care, why their games don't work anymore. And in that wondering, they'll destroy themselves. You've got a choice to make. You can let their words break you, or you can let your silence break them. One path keeps you shackled to their control. The other sets you free. But freedom comes with a price. It's lonely, it's dark, and it's cold. Not everyone can handle it, but those who can, they become legends. They think they own you. Every insult, every slight, every backhanded compliment, it's their way of keeping you in line. They're pulling strings, trying to make you dance like a puppet. And here's the worst part. For a while, you let them. You took their words to heart, let their opinions define you. But what they don't realize is that the moment you stop reacting, you take back the power. Silence isn't just a response, it's a rebellion. It's the ultimate declaration that their words mean nothing. And when they realize they've lost control, that they can't get under your skin anymore, that's when the tables turn. You see, people thrive on control. They need to feel like they're steering the ship, like they're the ones dictating the narrative. But when you go quiet, when you stop giving them the satisfaction of a reaction, it's like cutting the strings on their puppet show. And do you know what happens when they lose control? They panic, they crumble, they break. Let me tell you something about expectations. They're a cage. People will build this perfect little box for you, filled with their rules, their limits, their definitions of who you're supposed to be. And every time you step outside of it, they'll try to shove you back in. But here's the truth. They don't want you to know. You don't owe them anything. Not your explanation, not your compliance, not your pain. You were not put on this earth to meet their expectations. And the sooner you stop trying, the sooner you'll realize how small their box really is. Because the world outside of their rules, it's infinite, it's yours. But silence, and that's the key. Because when you stop explaining yourself, stop justifying your every move, you stop playing their game. And when you stop playing, they lose. It's that simple. You want to know what really haunts people? It's not the things they've done. It's the things they didn't do, the words left unsaid, the chances they didn't take, and most of all, the people they lost. Here's where it gets dark. One day, they're going to look back on how they treated you. They'll replay every conversation, every argument, every time they made you feel small. And do you know what they'll see? You, standing there, silent, unbroken, and gone. Regret is a slow poison. It eats away at the soul, bit by bit. And the worst kind of regret? It's not losing someone. It's realizing they're better off without you. That's the regret you'll leave them with. Not through anger, not through revenge, but through the quiet, undeniable truth of your absence. Here's a harsh truth. The best revenge isn't being remembered. It's being forgotten. Because when someone forgets you, it means you've taken away the one thing they thought they had: significance. They wanted to be the hero in your story, or maybe the villain. Either way, they wanted a role. But when you go silent, when you move on without them, you strip them of that role. You reduce them to a footnote, a forgotten chapter in a book that's still being written. And that's a wound time won't heal. You want logic? Let's break it down. Biology. Humans are wired for connection. We crave attention, validation, acknowledgement. Silence disrupts that. It creates a void, and nature abhors a void. They'll try to fill it, but they won't know how. And in their confusion, they'll unravel. Psychology. Ever heard of projection? People project their fears, insecurities, and failures onto others. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing them to confront their own reflection. And let me tell you, most people can't handle what they see. Sociology. Society runs on noise, gossip, arguments, endless chatter. It's all just noise. But silence stands out. It's rare, it's powerful, and it demands attention. When you're silent, you control the narrative. And in a world obsessed with being heard, being silent is the ultimate act of defiance. Let's talk about pain. Not the kind they inflicted on you, that's old news. I'm talking about the kind you're going to inflict on them. And no, I don't mean violence. I don't mean chaos. I mean the kind of pain that comes from realizing they were wrong. The kind of pain that comes from seeing you rise while they sink. Your silence is the currency of that pain. Every moment you don't respond, every time you walk away, you're making an investment. And trust me, the return on that investment is devastating. They'll feel it in every empty room, every sleepless night, every awkward pause in conversation. Because silence doesn't just hurt, it lingers. Do you know what they'll say about you one day? They'll call you strong, they'll call you mysterious. They'll wonder how you did it, how you stayed so calm while the world tried to tear you apart. And the truth is, you didn't just survive, you thrived. Because silence isn't just a weapon, it's a legacy. When you're gone, they'll tell stories about you. Not the kind they tell about loud, angry people. No, your story will be different. They'll talk about the way you stood tall, the way you faced them without a word, the way your silence spoke louder than any scream ever could. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to waste your energy on people who don't deserve it, or are you going to let your silence do the talking? Because trust me, kid, your silence will break them in ways anger never could. It'll haunt them, it'll change them, and it'll set you free. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. All you need is the strength to stay quiet, to stay focused, to rise above. And when you do, they'll never forget you, even if you forget them. You ever notice how the loudest people are always the weakest? They shout, they scream, they throw tantrums like children. They think the volume of their voice equals the weight of their words, but it doesn't. It just shows how desperate they are to be heard. Real strength, it doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. Strength is silent. It's the calm in the eye of the storm, the unshakable foundation when the world is crumbling. And that silence, it terrifies people because they can't figure it out. They can't predict what's coming next. That's the thing about being silent. It's not passive, it's strategic. Every time you hold your tongue, every time you choose not to react, you're planting seeds of doubt in their mind. You're making them question everything. And that's when you've already won. People like to play games. Mind games, emotional games, power games. They'll push your buttons, poke at your insecurities, just to see how far they can go. And most people, they fall for it. They react. They play along. But not you. Not anymore. See, when you refuse to play their game, you're not just walking away. You're flipping the board. You're showing them that their tricks don't work on you. And nothing frustrates a manipulator more than losing control. They'll try harder, get louder, get nastier. But the harder they try, the weaker they look. And you just keep walking, silent, unbothered, invincible. Here's a little secret about people. They hate looking in the mirror, not the physical kind, the emotional one. They hate being confronted with their flaws, their failures, their fears. And that's exactly what your silence does. It turns into a mirror, forcing them to see themselves for who they really are. Think about it. When someone lashes out at you, when they try to hurt you, It's not really about you. It's about them. It's their own insecurities, their own pain spilling over. And when you don't react, when you just stand there, silent and strong, you're holding up that mirror. You're making them face the very things they've been running from. And trust me, most people would rather burn the world down than face themselves. Picture this, a fortress, tall, impenetrable, surrounded by walls so thick nothing can break through. That's what your silence is. It's a fortress they can't breach, no matter how hard they try. They can yell, they can scream, they can throw everything they have at you, but those walls, they don't even crack. And here's the best part. While they're exhausting themselves trying to break you, you're conserving your energy. You're growing stronger. You're building. And when the dust settles, when they're left standing in the rubble of their own chaos, you'll still be standing, untouched, unbothered, victorious. Now, don't get me wrong, silence isn't easy. It's not for the weak. It takes strength, discipline, and patience. Because the truth is, silence comes at a price. It's lonely. It's isolating. It makes you question yourself, but that's the point. Silence forces you to face yourself, to confront your own demons. And in doing so, it makes you stronger than you ever thought possible. Most people can't handle that. They'd rather drown in noise than sit in silence. But not you. You're different. You're stronger. And that strength, it's going to take you places they can only dream of. You ever watch someone crumble under their own arrogance? It's a beautiful thing. The louder they are, the harder they fall. Because pride is fragile. It's built on a foundation of ego. And ego, it doesn't take much to shatter. Your silence is the hammer. Every time you refuse to engage, every time you rise above their pettiness, you're chipping away at that foundation. And one day, it'll collapse. They'll fall apart. Not because of anything you said or did, but because of the weight of their own pride. And you'll be long gone, too far ahead to even hear the crash. Here's the thing about success. It doesn't just speak, it screams. Louder than any argument, louder than any insult. When you succeed, when you thrive, despite everything they did to break you, it's the ultimate revenge. But here's the kicker. Success doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes work. And most of all, it takes silence. Because while they're out there wasting their energy on noise, you're focused. You're building, you're growing, and when you finally reach the top, they'll look up and realize they can't touch you. Not now, not ever. One day you'll look back on all of this. The pain, the struggles, the people who tried to tear you down. And you'll realize something incredible. They didn't break you. They made you. Every insult, every setback, every moment of doubt, It all shaped you into who you are. And who you are is unstoppable, unbreakable, a force to be reckoned with. Your silence isn't just a response. It's a legacy. It's the story you'll leave behind. A story of strength, of resilience, of rising above. And when people tell that story, they won't talk about the people who hurt you. They'll talk about how you overcame them, how you stood tall when the world tried to bring you to your knees, how you turned your silence into the loudest roar they'd ever heard. What's it gonna be? Are you gonna let them drag you into their chaos, or are you gonna rise above it? Are you gonna let their words define you, or are you gonna let your silence do the talking? Because at the end of the day, your silence will break them in ways anger never could. And you'll walk away stronger, wiser, and untouchable. The choice is yours. But remember this, the loudest screams are the ones no one hears. Let's get one thing straight. Silence isn't just a defense, it's a revolution. It's you saying, I don't play by your rules anymore. And revolutions, they don't need banners or speeches. They need resolve. They need action. Quiet, calculated action. When you choose silence, you stop feeding the fire. You let it burn itself out. And in the ashes of their chaos, you build something stronger, something unshakable. That's the power of silence. It doesn't just protect you, it transforms you. It's not about ignoring them, it's about outgrowing them. Think about this. When a tree outgrows its roots, it doesn't stay confined. It pushes through, cracks the pavement, breaks free. Your silence is that growth. It's you breaking through their expectations, their judgments, their limits. And once you've grown beyond them, there's no going back. People throw words around like they're nothing. Insults, accusations, lies. They spit them out without thinking about the damage they cause. But words, they have weight. And if you're not careful, that weight can crush you. That's why silence is so powerful. It's your way of refusing to carry their baggage. You're not their dumping ground. You're not their punching bag. You're a fortress, remember? And a fortress doesn't crumble under the weight of words. It stands tall, unyielding, unbreakable. When you stay silent, you strip their words of power, you take away their ability to hurt you, and that drives them mad, because people like that, they need to feel important. They need to feel like they matter. Your silence is a reminder that they don't. Letting go. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Because letting go isn't just about moving on. It's about accepting that some people, some situations, aren't worth your time or energy. Here's the truth. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves access to your heart, your mind, your soul. and letting go? It's your way of reclaiming your space. It's your way of saying, I deserve better. But letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean forgiving. It means freeing yourself from the chains they put on you. It means choosing peace over chaos, strength over weakness, growth over stagnation. And that choice, that's power. You ever notice how much energy it takes to react? To argue, to defend yourself, to fight back? It's exhausting. And for what? To prove a point? To win an argument? Let me tell you something. The real winners don't waste their energy on battles that don't matter. They save their strength for the wars that do. Every time you react, you're giving them a piece of yourself, a piece of your energy, your focus, your peace. And for what? So they can feel validated? So they can feel like they've won? No, that's not how this works. Your silence is your shield. It's your way of conserving your energy, your focus, your power. And when the time comes to fight, you'll be ready. While they're worn out from their petty battles, you'll be standing tall, ready to take on whatever comes your way. Let's talk about the loneliness for a second. Because make no mistake, strength is lonely. Silence is lonely. Walking away is lonely. But that loneliness, it's where you find yourself. It's where you discover who you really are. When you're surrounded by noise, by chaos, it's easy to lose yourself. Easy to forget what you stand for, what you believe in. But in the silence, there's no hiding, no distractions. Just you, raw and unfiltered. And that's where the real growth happens. It's not easy, it's not pretty, but it's necessary, because the strongest people, the ones who change the world, they're the ones who face themselves in the silence. They're the ones who've embraced the loneliness and come out stronger on the other side. Let me tell you something about the people who try to tear you down. They're terrified of you. Oh, they won't admit it. They'll call you names, mock you, try to make you feel small. But deep down, they're scared. Scared of your potential, scared of your strength, scared of the fact that you don't need them. That's why they lash out. That's why they try to control you, manipulate you, break you. Because if they can't bring you down, they have to face the truth, that they're the weak ones. And that's a truth they can't handle. Your silence forces them to confront that truth. Every time you don't react, every time you don't give them what they want, you're reminding them of their own weakness. And that's the kind of pain that sticks, the kind of pain they can't escape. Now let's talk about the future, because that's what this is all about, isn't it? Not the past, not the people who tried to break you, but the life you're building, the empire you're creating. Your silence is the foundation of that empire. It's what gives you the strength to keep going, to keep building, no matter what they throw at you. And when that empire stands tall, when it's unshakable, they'll look up at you and realize they were never a part of it. They'll try to take credit. They'll try to weasel their way back in. But by then, it'll be too late. Because you'll have built something so strong, so powerful, that nothing they say or do can touch it. And that's the ultimate victory. So here's the deal. You can keep fighting battles that don't matter, wasting your energy on people who don't deserve it. Or you can choose silence. You can choose strength. You can choose to rise above. The choice is yours. But remember this, your silence isn't just a response. It's a weapon. It's a legacy. And one day, they'll realize it was the loudest thing they ever heard. This world is drowning in noise. People talk, argue, shout. They never stop. It's all just empty chatter, desperate attempts to be heard in a world that doesn't listen. And most of it, it's meaningless. It's people trying to fill the void inside themselves by creating chaos around them. But you don't need to be part of that. You don't need to add to the noise. Because when you stay silent, when you choose not to engage, you become something rare, something different. And people fear what they don't understand. Your silence makes you unpredictable. They can't read you, can't control you, can't manipulate you. And that terrifies them. Because in their noisy little world, your silence is a reminder of everything they can't have. Peace, strength, self-control. Here's something people hate to admit. Most of the time, the way they treat you has nothing to do with you. It's about them. Their insecurities, their fears, their failures. They project all of that onto you because they can't face it themselves. So when they lash out, when they try to tear you down, it's not because of who you are. It's because of who they're not. They see in you something they'll never have. Strength, resilience, potential, and it eats them alive. But when you react, you validate their actions. You give them permission to keep treating you that way. Your silence, on the other hand, denies them that validation. It forces them to sit with the weight of their own actions. And trust me, that weight is heavier than you think. You ever watch a predator in the wild, a lion, a wolf, a hawk? They don't waste energy chasing every little thing. They wait. They watch. They choose their moment carefully. That's what makes them deadly. You need to be the same. Don't waste your energy reacting to every little thing. Don't let their words, their actions, their chaos pull you off course. Stay still. Stay focused. Choose your battles wisely. Stillness isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's control. And in a world full of people running around, shouting and screaming, stillness is power. It's you saying, I don't need to prove myself to you. I don't need to play your games. I'm above that. Anger burns fast and bright. It consumes everything in its path, but it doesn't last. Silence, though, silence lingers. It stays with people, haunts them, makes them question everything. Think about the last time someone hurt you. Not the ones who shouted, not the ones who made a scene, but the ones who walked away in silence. The ones who left you alone with your thoughts, your guilt, your regret. Those are the ones you never forget. That's the power of silence. It doesn't just end the conversation. It stays in the room long after you've left. It becomes a ghost, a shadow, a reminder of everything they did wrong. And that kind of pain, it doesn't fade. Do you know why they fear you? It's not because of what you've done. It's because of what you could do. Your potential terrifies them. Your silence reminds them that you're capable of things they can't even imagine. When you stay quiet, when you refuse to react, you force them to imagine the worst. They'll wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you're capable of. And their own imagination will destroy them faster than anything you could ever say. Because the unknown is the most terrifying thing of all. And your silence makes you the unknown. It makes you something they can't control, can't predict, can't understand. And that's why they fear you. Pain is inevitable. You can't avoid it, no matter how hard you try. But here's the thing. Pain doesn't have to destroy you. It can shape you, mold you, make you stronger, if you let it. Your silence is a way of taking that pain and turning it into power. It's you saying, yes, I'm hurt. Yes, I'm angry. But I won't let you see that. I won't let you win. Think about steel. Do you know how it's made? It's forged in fire, beaten into shape, cooled in silence. That's what you are. You're steel, strong, unbreakable, forged in the fires of your pain and tempered by the cold silence of your strength. One day people will look back at your life. They'll remember the things you said, the things you did, the impact you made. But most of all, they'll remember the way you made them feel. Your silence is part of that legacy. It's a reminder that you didn't let the noise of the world drown you out. That you didn't let the chaos of others define you. That you stood tall, stayed strong, and chose peace over conflict. And that legacy, it's not just about you. It's about the people who come after you, the ones who look to you for inspiration, for guidance, for strength. Your silence isn't just a response, it's a lesson. A reminder that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say nothing at all. What's it gonna be? Are you gonna keep wasting your energy on people who don't deserve it? Or are you gonna let your silence speak for you? Are you gonna let them define you? Or are you gonna rise above? Because in the end, your silence will break them in ways anger never could. And you'll walk away stronger, wiser, and free. The choice is yours. But remember, silence isn't weakness. It's power. It's strength. It's everything they fear. And it's everything you are.